They did it. They finally did it. We got the Red Hood gear. Welcome to Podcast Now, everybody. I normally put that part at the beginning. I am Alex. In this video, we're going to talk about the gear for Red Hood. It's awesome. It's awesome. We finally got it. They did it. They dropped it on a Tuesday. And I even replied to this. I said, have you lost your minds? I would have put some other things in there, but I wanted to keep it a very much PG, just PG, maybe even E for everyone. But, you know, dropping it on a Tuesday, we finally get it. Now, there's some cool things here and also some like differences. I was not expecting some of this stuff. So what do I mean? Well, okay, we got the breakdown. Okay, so we have his cowl, his hoodie, his knee pads, his shoes, and his hip holsters. And then we also obviously have, well, him in like his stance, which is kind of unique, obviously, to every character. Red Hood, Jason Todd. We have the two color palettes basically that are going on here, brown leather and rust red. But one thing that's interesting is, and something that I noticed very early on, remember, I feel like I was one of the only people to call this, is that when they first started doing this, Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, they were showing a lot of things that were very customizable, and I kind of picked it out. Remember, I said, well, maybe you could swap this in or out, or this is going to be the gear piece that you can switch, or this is going to be, you know, whatever. The color palettes was something I actually focused in on early, too, where it's like, hey, they're making a big deal out of the colors that these characters have. You can probably switch the colors. And pretty much they've confirmed that that is the case, that there is, well, obviously there's gear switching. There is different color variations and things like that you can do with the characters. One thing that's interesting with Red Hood, though, is they don't really have his weapons. So they have his hip holsters, which says placed at mid thigh to allow for ease of reach and quick draws, doubles as armor when weapons are in use. So that's cool. Actually, I didn't even read that before, so I didn't even know that was also considered armor. But they don't really make mention of his weapon. Now, maybe it's because it's a, you know what it is. I won't say it out loud just in case YouTube has a problem with it. But maybe it's because it's that, and Warner Bros. Montreal is trying to keep it kind of PG in that way, in which case I would have advised them to not include Jason Todd at all, because they're going down that path where it's like, yeah, he is kind of edgy, and he doesn't necessarily do things by the book, and his weapons of choice aren't exactly non-lethal. You know what I mean? I mean, they're pretty up there in terms of what they can actually do. So it's to me, it's interesting they chose the hip holsters instead of the actual you-know-whats that he's holding, because for everybody else, I believe they did it. I think for Batgirl, right, they made note of, like, her knuckles. For Nightwing, they had, like, his Eskrima stick. Like, all of these characters, they talked about what they can actually do in terms of maybe that was Robin. I'm getting confused. But, you know what I mean? For every character, I'm pretty sure they talked about in this breakdown, they showed their weapons. Now, the weapons were something that I don't really think are transferable. I don't really think you can just switch weapons in this game. I think the weapons you have are going to be the weapons you have. I think, as we know, there's going to be the skill points, and you're going to be able to kind of upgrade your character. So they'll be able to, I'm sure, do different things with their weapons as the game progresses. It's just they'll have to keep those weapons. So just a little odd that they didn't do anything, with that. But beyond that, well, look, I have to be honest with you guys. Obviously, I'm not a skin or a suit kind of guy. You guys know that by now. I've told you that. I've told you guys that enough. But with that being said, Red Hood looks super, and I truly do mean this, super cool. Honestly, all the characters, when they've done this breakdown, and you really take a second to look, because in all honesty, it kind of makes you appreciate the small details, because I mean, you're literally just staring at a picture, right? And you're seeing just everything there is to offer. Like, it looks really neat. And when they do like the zoom in, I mean, look, I can't make an entire video talking about knee pads and shoes, even the hip holsters. I mean, his hoodie does look extremely, extremely cool. His cowl, I mean, I really like him. I really, really do. I will stand firm on Batgirl is still going to be my main, but Red Hood is definitely number 2. And I think for most of you guys, well, actually, they did a poll, right? I think Red Hood won that. So I think a lot of you guys are probably going to main Red Hood. I don't know if I necessarily like the brown jacket. Kind of looks a little odd compared to the rest of it. I don't know if it contrasts, but I'm no artist, and I will never pretend to be. But I don't know if it contrasts the red all that well. But again, these I think are examples of, well, number one, these are not things that I think are going to be like always on him. So the shoes, I think, can change. The hoodie, 1,000% I think will change. Even the cowl, I do think he could probably change that out, and it'll look different. But again, you got to remember the color palettes. I think the color palettes can also change in this game. So nothing revolutionary, nothing brand new. Again, I think it just further reinforces what exactly is changing. Even really all this stuff, like okay, let's say this. Cowl, hoodie, knee pads, shoes, and hip holsters, everything they showed is probably something that you're going to be able to swap out with something else. Now, are they going to have like buffs to them? Are they going to look, I mean, they are visually going to look different. There's no denying that. But will they have buffs to them? Maybe. Again, the color palettes are going to be able to change. That's, I think, we can get out of this. Again, it's kind of interesting to me that they didn't really focus so much on his weapons, which they did for the other characters. So, very awesome that we get to see him. Very awesome that they're finally at this point. Next up is fan art, right? They asked for the fan art submissions, I believe, last week. So what, next week, I believe, right? Next Friday, they would probably do the fan art, and then they're done. So, I already actually recorded another video for Gotham Knights. I'm putting this out before that one where we'll talk about something just completely different. We'll have to see at the Game Awards if they do anything for this game. If not, I mean, they're at the end of the road. They literally just have the fan art, and then that's it. So if they don't do it, it's coming very, very soon. We'll talk about that over the next couple weeks because we're, at this point, here we are. We're in mid, to late December over the next little while. So we're going to head into the new year. They got to show us some stuff very, very soon, especially once all this stuff is done. They've made it very, very clear this is the promotion scheduling, or this is how we're doing this promotion. And now the next step, obviously, I think will be, well, either going completely dark for a while or showing us in-game stuff. Or I guess they can do more like the teaser pictures like they maybe did for the Poison Ivy thing, right? They could definitely throw those in there, from time to time. But this is a really good step, not only because it looks really cool, but because what's coming next, I think, is going to excite a lot of people. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think about Red Hood? What do you think about all this stuff? What do you think is customizable in him? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on. All my other social media stuff is in the description below. I have a Twitter, I have a Twitch, I have a second channel, and I have a Discord. That's right. I just keep growing, even against many people's wishes that I slow down or not do as much. I'm actually doing more than ever. So if you guys want to follow me or support me or watch me on any of those other things, feel free. I'd really greatly appreciate it. More Gotham Knights videos. In fact, I think one is actually coming tomorrow, and so I hope to see you guys there.